Hi everybody, it's Terry with Crafty Book Nerd. Today I'm going to share the books I read in January. I know this video's late, but as you can hear from my voice, I've had the crud going on 3 weeks now, so I apologize for the voice and there may be some coughing involved. With that said, I will be going briefly into each of the books I read for January. So I wanted to go ahead and get this video up because it's already halfway through February. Anyway, first, you know what time it is. Time for our quote of the day. And today's quote is another Bible verse from Psalms 24, and it says, "May he give you the desire of your heart and make all your plans succeed." So let's get started. I read 11 books this month, and if you remember, I spun the wheel and based my reads on my choices that came up, and so I'm going to do them in that order. So first we're going to start with the books I read on Kindle. I was supposed to read 2 books on Kindle, and I have those here. The first one was Never Never by Colleen Hoover and Tarryn Fisher. I have loved everything I have read by Colleen Hoover, okay? But this one was a no for me. I did not even finish it. I gave it 2 stars. It just didn't do it. It's about 2 teenagers who keep waking up and forgetting who they are, where they are, relationships they have, and it just kind of goes on, and there's never really any definite answers to what happened, and I just did not care for it at all, and that's Never Never. The next Kindle was The Christmas Guest. This was a fun read. I gave this one 3 stars. It is by Peter Swanson, who is also another author I like. This was a quick read, not a very long book. It was about a girl named Ashley who went to spend some time with her friend's family during the holidays. It's about a spooky old house. It's written in 2 different parts. One is in a diary form, told by Ashley, and the second one is told by an older woman, looking back on her life. There were a few twists, and I did enjoy it. 3 stars, The Christmas Guest. Excuse me. So those were my 2 Kindle books. Next, I was supposed to read 3 books from the library, and I'll start with the actual book that I still have that I need to turn in, and that's The Secret Keepers by Trenton Lee Stewart. This is a middle grade book, and it was fun. I really did enjoy The Secret Keepers. It was about a magical world with a lot of different secrets going on, and about a widow mom with a young boy named Reuben who was very brave. It had lots of adventure and danger and magic. The only problem I really had with this book was that it was very long for a middle grade book. It was 500 pages, and I felt that was a bit long for a middle grade book. But I did enjoy it, and if I would have read this in 4th or 8th grade, I would have definitely given it 4 stars. That's The Secret Keepers. The other 2 library books I've had to turn in, and one of those is Starling House by Alex E. Harrow. This was a Reese's book club pick, and I was pretty excited to start this one. I really liked the cover. This was a fantasy, gothic, grim mystery and romance, so lots of things going on in this book. The house was definitely the main character in this book, and it's about Eleanor Starling, who was murdered by her husband, and Eleanor murdered her husband, and then she used the money that she got from his estate to build this house. And Arthur is the heir to the house, and he meets a young lady named Opal who begins working for him, and she is very frightened of the house. And the 2 of them together dig up secrets from the past and also confront their own fears to prevent their town from being taken over by the Starling House. I gave it 3 stars. The next one was one of my favorite books I read this month, and it was a 5-star for me, and that was Murder in the Family by Kara Hunter. This was a library book, but it was also a book that was recommended in the Currently Reading podcast I listened to. And I'm going to link that podcast in the description, because if you're a book lover like me, you need to listen to it. They talk about books that I've never even heard of. And this is like the second or third one that I've read that they recommended that was a big hit. And that's Murder in the Family. Now, I do want to say, if you decide to do this book, I would highly suggest the audiobook, because it is told in the form of a podcast. It's something that happened 20 years ago. Luke was found murdered, and his stepson, Guy, who is a director of a movie, wants to dig into what happened to his stepfather. And there's all these different people involved in the podcast, and each person brings something to the story, and each person is tied to the story in their own way. It was lots of twists and turns, and I just really, really love it. And I thought I had figured out the mystery, but I was wrong in the end. So that always is a nice surprise to be wrong. So the author fooled me. So Murder in the Family by Kara Hunter. Highly recommend it. 5 stars for me. Favorite book of January. Listen to the audio. So those were my library books. My next book was my choice. And I chose another one I think I heard about from Currently Reading podcast. And that was Frozen River by Ariel Lawhon. This is a historical mystery. I really love the cover of this one. This did not disappoint. It was really good. It's about the life of Martha Ballard, and I did not know that she was a real person, and she was an 18th century midwife. And it's happens in 1789, about a body that's found, of course, in the frozen river. And she is the one who has to examine the body, and she determines that it was murder. Of course, being a woman in 1789, the men in the community did not take her serious, and they had someone else look at the body and say, no, it was an accident. But she is convinced it was a murder, and so she goes on a hunt to prove it was a murder and who did it. It was really good seeing how women were treated in the 18th century, and even though she was a midwife, she still was not treated in the best way. Like I said, I really liked it. And all the different characters, we get to see how they're connected in the book. I did give this one 4 stars, and I would like to read some more by this author, Frozen River, and that was my choice. Next was said to read one of my book of the months, and I chose The Kingdom of Sweets by Erica Johansson. She wrote what did she write? A book that I read. It was actually a series that I absolutely loved. Now I can't remember the name of it. It should be listed here, her other books that she wrote. The Queen of the Tearling, The Invasion of the Tearling, and The Fate of the Tearling. I really enjoyed that series by her. So I was excited to read this. It is advertised as a Nutcracker retelling, which it was, but I had a hard time following it. I gave it 3 stars. I enjoyed it, but it got a bit confusing at times for me, and it was just not exactly what I was expecting. The cover's beautiful, but I was expecting more from this book, The Kingdom of Sweets. And of course, I always read, not always because I'm skipping this month, but I did read my January book club pick, and that was Assistant to the Villain. Sorry, I have to go back and look at my notes. This was, you can see I tabbed it. I always tab my book club picks because we discuss so much, and I need sometimes to look at things that I marked in the book. My favorite part of this book, and this, I'm sorry, is by Hannah Nicole Mahar. My favorite part of the book was this little character frog that was in the book. There he is right there. He was my favorite character in the whole book. It just wasn't what I was expecting. I was expecting it to be darker based on the cover, but it ended up being more of a rom-com. There are 2 more books to come in this series. I'm not sure I will continue reading them. But it's about a young girl who needs a job, and she becomes an assistant to the villain. And it's about what happens with her and the villain. And like I said, it's a rom-com, so you can probably figure out what goes on. And it was just okay for me. I gave it 3 stars. Next, I was supposed to read something from my book haul that I bought, a book from 2023, and I bought this one, and it was Midnight at the Christmas Bookshop. I did not realize there was a book that came before this one. It's by Jenny Colgan, and The Christmas Bookshop is the first book. I did okay not reading this one, but if I were doing it for the first time, I would read The Christmas Bookshop and then Midnight at the Christmas Bookshop. It was just a little cozy, a cozy story that was a fun read, and I did enjoy it. Of course, I always like anything about books and bookshops. And I'm trying to find my notes. Here we go. It was very lighthearted, a feel-good book. It's about a young lady named Carmen who is in danger of losing her bookshop and what she does to survive, and not only to keep her bookshop, but to also improve her situation in life. And it was pretty good. I gave it a 3 stars. And then I listened to 2 audiobooks this month. The first one was Foe by Ian Reid. This one is now a show, a movie, been made into a movie. I'm not sure if I'll watch it. It is a sci-fi dystopian book. I really like the premise, but at times it was a little confusing. It's about a Midwest couple in the future, and they're happy with their little simple life. And then one day a mysterious person shows up who offers them an opportunity. And so we see what happens with that and how it affects the relationship. And like I said, it was pretty good. It did have a surprise ending for me. I was not expecting the ending. I did give this one 3 stars. And then the other audiobook that I listened to was Strange Sally Diamond by Liz Nugent. I just want to tell you one thing before you start this book. This is one messed up story. Some triggers: abuse, grief, sexual abuse, torture, kidnapping. It's messed up. So Sally Diamond isn't really her real name. Sally Diamond was a young girl who was held hostage for a long, long time by an evil man. And this is her story and what happened with her. I do like the fact that it was told in different perspectives. And in the audiobook, you got different voices for the different characters, which I always love. And I listened to this one rather quickly because I wanted to know all about Sally and what happened to her and how she got in the situation she was in. It really is complex and talks a lot about tragedies and how people deal with those tragedies from their childhood. I really enjoyed it. It was also a 5-star for me. So I really enjoyed this one by Liz Nugent, Strange Sally Diamond. So those are the 11 books that I read. I would say my favorites would be Strange Sally Diamond, The Frozen River, and Murder in the Family, which I can't find the little sticky for. Those were my 3 favorite books. Frozen River, Sally Diamond, Strange Sally Diamond, and Murder in the Family. And I had the book thing for it, but I don't know where it's gone. So those are my 3 favorites. Oh, there it is, Murder in the Family. So those were my 3 favorites for this month. So I was tickled with 11 books. So, thanks for watching. Please like this video, subscribe if you haven't. Trying to get up to my 500 subscribers. Don't forget to check out my video on the prizes I'm offering. If you subscribe on that video, if you comment on that video, and you share that video, you will be put into a drawing for some really cool book-related prizes or crafting-related prizes. So, I'll see y'all next time. Everybody have a great day, and hopefully I will get well before the next video. Thanks, everybody.